Welcome back to the Share Parenting Podcast. This is the Ways We Mom segment. And in this segment, we learn from each other and our unique motherhood journeys, whatever those might look like. So today we are interviewing Honor Genetski, and she is a motherhood mastery coach. And she's the facilitator of Consciously Created Motherhood on Facebook, which is a fantastic group. If you are not in it, you should be. Within 5 minutes, there's like amazing gold nuggets that you need in your life. So I am honored to have you here. Didn't intend for the pun, but I guess that probably happens with your name.
Yeah, it happens. Thank you. I use the word honor a lot as well. It's a bit funny and confusing. Thank you so much for having me here, Sammy. I'm excited to chat with you about all things motherhood and help and support more moms.
So could you just introduce yourself, a little bit of your background? What does your family look like?
Yeah, sure. So I'll start with the more personal side. I am a psychotherapist. I've been a psychotherapist a long time now, moving into coaching, and have been coaching full steam for about 3 years, having moved out of individual work into program work, which comes from my journey in motherhood, the desire to help other moms, to really share what I know, to help others who are in that dark place to move out of it, because I was there. I have 2 girls who are now just turned 10 and 6, and are beautiful, deep, emotional and wise celestial beings. And I'm married to my husband, Christian, and it's family first for me. Always has been family first. And I also am really passionate about what I do. So it's been a gift to really bring my work from such a personal place, and to be able to bring more of me into my work, which the paradigm that I've created for helping women in now is much more friendly toward, and people really love and appreciate that. I think, like, that, just hearing about how we're doing it, and how we're running our houses, and how we're speaking to our partners, and how we're getting our needs met. So I live in Northern California, and my work is all online now, which is crazy and amazing, especially with life throwing us curveballs like this. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And I have a really cute shaggy dog who you probably see running behind me, named Sally.
Aw, that's awesome. That's fantastic. I'm just excited to have you here, because I feel like there can be a bit of an intimidation factor when you're talking to a psychologist, and to be able to show moms the real personal side, and that connection that you can have, and you can, access all of that training and those skills in this way that feels so approachable. I'm very excited to be able to present that to my listeners and my followers. So
awesome. Yeah, thanks for saying that too. It's something that that is really not on my radar, that people might be intimidated to talk to me, or like people might be nervous to approach someone who has expertise about something. And it is to be noticed and acknowledged. Like, there is so much, we carry so much so much junk from our past, and we bring that into every new interaction, and every time we're seeking a solution or help for something. So I appreciate you naming and acknowledging that. For moms, it can be really overwhelming to ask for help. Do you know that?
Absolutely. And I think some of that can come from our past. I know in my family, the saying is, we don't believe in mental health, which
right, like it's not a thing.
But I know that was the experience I had growing up, was everything stays in the circle. You don't talk to outsiders. There was a big barrier there. And so becoming an adult and realizing, I actually can't do all of this on my own. I do need some help. I do need some outside perspective to help me to become really the parent I want to be and the person I want to be. It opened me up to this world of expertise that before felt scary. So yeah. I would love to do that for more moms. And on top of that, one of the things that I focus on in Share Parenting is banishing shoulds. And I think that one of the shoulds that a lot of us moms sit with is, I should be able to handle it. And
or do it on my own.
Yeah, I should be able to do it myself. And I don't think that helps us.
Mhm.
Right?
So self-limiting, right? It's
It
damaging.
really is. And we're social creatures. We are historically had villages, literal villages of people. And if not that, we had at least generationally support within our family structure. And to have an individual mother just by herself trying to do everything really is asking a lot more than was ever intended to be put on our plate. And
Absolutely.
so I guess what I want to ask you is, when moms experience those feelings, those shoulds, that they end up getting into this cycle of perfectionism and really wanting to do everything right all the time. And then, because we're in fact human, we end up feeling guilty, and we feel this shame, and then we are so afraid to even admit that maybe we aren't doing everything perfectly all the time. Or the flip side of that can be almost this reverting back to giving up, like, oh, well, I stink at this, so whatever, I'm not even going to try. And I don't think if anyone ever actually means that, but in social media, a lot, I see that aspect of like, well, I'm terrible at this anyway, so I'm just going to stay there. How do you help moms to face that painful part of, this isn't what I want it to look like. This motherhood journey isn't how I envisioned. And what on earth can you do from there?
Yeah, I love that. I love that question. The evil shoulds, and we joke, don't should. You're shooting all over yourself. I mean, we have to stop doing that as a population, because it is a way to outsource our power. We're just relinquishing all of our own power when we do that, and power and higher power as well. And so that last part of what you just said there is the juicy nugget, that critical place where we find ourselves when we look around and we go, this sucks. I don't know how I got here, and I feel awful, and my head is spinning, and I'm out of touch with my body, or I'm obese, or whatever mess you get yourself into. I'm so overwhelmed, and I don't like it. Instead of just riding that merry-go-round of shame and beating yourself up and self-flogging about how wrong everything is going, that point that you named is my favorite point in time. It's my favorite. It's like, it's everything. It's the gold nugget when you just stop the circling round and round and have this moment of clarity. It's usually rock bottom. It's usually ugly. I mean, I don't know if you've had yours. I've had many of those moments of checking in with myself and saying, I can't do it another minute. No more. Just no more. This is beneath me. My kids deserve better. I want better for my marriage. It's that moment that I love, because I never have to convince anybody of anything who's at that point in terms of accessing help. Once you've hit the breaking open point, you're already open. So you get it that it sucks, and you've made a decision that you don't want to stay in the suck. And so once we're there, the world, it's unlimited possibility. The world is open to us. Life unfolds for us. But that point, that making a decision that I'm not willing to be in that low place anymore, is the turning point. So what I find is, like, it's not on us as practitioners or coaches or healers to help someone to come out of that place, because it isn't even possible. And then we frustrate ourselves and burn out. But what we can do is just be here, ever present. And when someone goes, oh, that's the kind of help I need, and they're in that beautiful, miraculous, divine timing breaking point, then we have liftoff. Does that make sense?
Love it. That is empowering for me as a coach to hear, like, you can't. You can't. And I think I know that. I know you can't do it for somebody. Also, it's validating to hear, because sometimes that stinks.
Yeah, well, we want to take responsibility, right, for somebody else not being able to move out of their pain, but it isn't it isn't anything other than, and we can't look at it any other way, whether we're the mom or the coach. It's a readiness issue. It just is. And people will go to therapy for years not being ready. They will go to therapy, they will go to counseling, they will go to coaching, and really not be ready for transformation. So it's a beautiful thing to just take a stand for the transformation and say, I'm here when you're ready for that.
I love it. That's fantastic. Oh, so good. Now, you were working clinically for a long time, and then you decided to move into coaching, which is a little bit different. One, I would love if you could help us understand the difference. But then two, what had you moving from family focus to mom focus? What was that shift for you?
Yeah. So this is really fun. I, years and years ago, back in the beginning of sort of starting this journey, had this idea. I'd been a teacher prior. I was a early elementary school teacher. Oh, you were too? Oh, no way.
Yeah.
So, and I thought, I'm going to transition to the family counseling piece, or maybe school-based. I wasn't sure. And then, skip ahead a lot of life experience and deep soul searching and travel and healing from injuries and all the fun and not fun things. And I had a lot of clarity about what I wanted to do. And I knew I wanted to do deep soul work with people, but I just didn't know what it was going to look like. And I began my skill building through those years of supervision and all the intensity of gaining hours and licensure and all of that, through working in two different permutations, one with the child directly, one-on-one, and which was an easy place for me, a comfortable place for me, because that was my background. And then quickly realized, like, we got to get parents on board. Like, there's nothing I can do here that's going to stick unless I'm training parents. Yes. So then began coaching parents, and then began doing whole family dynamic work. And I love that work. It's so alive and so amazing and challenging. And all of that, fast forward like years of that practice, I realized that we really only need to look to one person to be the leader of the family, the energetic center and that anchor for the family. And once we find out who that person is and help her to resource in creating the emotional home for her family and raising her own standards and raising her own ability to communicate clearly and from an empowered place, and to own her truth, that it ripples out to everybody else. And I did a lot of testing of this, and really kind of questioned, was I just saying that because I just wanted to work with moms, or really challenge myself on that to stretch and grow. But during those years, I was really going through it myself, and had some very big challenges, and walked through the fire, and went through a lot of things that fear-based experiences for me, and around health and my kids' health. And so I had a lot of come to Jesus moments for myself about how I, as the mom, as the leader of my family, was going to help to move everyone forward, because there were moments when it felt like we're spinning and spiraling out, and my husband and I are losing touch, and we literally couldn't speak to each other for a while without fighting. So we had to make a contract, like just a no communication about anything emotional kind of contract for a while, when it was really, really hard. And having gotten through all that, to the other side, I learned a lot, and sourced my experts, and developed my skill set, and grew spiritually just leaps and bounds. And what I realized was, moms are the key. We are the key. And it's not that partners couldn't do the work, but women are feeling really compelled to do the work now. It's very exciting. It's a time when there's so much spiritual support, when the divine feminine is really like knocking on the door to say, wake up and pay attention to me. And God, I just believe that that there is help and support for every one of us to be in taking a stand as the leader for our family, and to create the kind of energy in the home that is just pure love, that comes from love embodied, that comes from deep connection to wisdom. And so when we learn to be that, then the whole family structure changes. And in family systems theory, we learn, like, you can't move one of the cogs without all the cogs changing and moving. And it is true. When we get mom aligned, when we get mom clear, then kids stop arguing and partners stop questioning, and they start going, hey, how can I help? Gosh, you look beautiful today. And that's all because of the work we do as women, as moms. So it's the short answer is it's the quickest distance between 2 points, from overwhelmed and anxious to happy family. That's it. Moms can do that work.
I love how empowering that is. It really is. It takes something that feels impossible and makes it tangible. Maybe I don't think that I can change my husband, but can I change me? Yeah, I can do that.
Yes. And will he pick up on that? Highly likely.
Yes.
Highly likely. I've only seen maybe one case in the 3 years of working with clients in Awakened Motherhood where someone came through, did the work, got empowered, got clear, and then looked back and realized, oh, that marriage is not aligned for me. Like it never was, but I was too afraid to see it, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Whatever realigns in our lives, it's like, it's what we really want. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and it's what's best for us and for the highest good. So we can relax into knowing it's safe for us to do this work.
I love that so much. It's so interesting because when you have people who have never actually met before, you and I, and yet we enter this work with children first, and then we realize, parents really need to be on board, and then we realize that both of us, like, it really comes down to mom. When I created the SURE acronym, S stands for self-honor. And that's what I call the key. Literally in my diagram, the key is that self-honor piece. You have to do that work for everything else to happen. And it's just so exciting to me, not only to hear it from your words, but also from clients that we've shared mutually telling me, no, she's great. I'm telling you, you need to talk to her because she, I love her work. If it weren't for what she taught me, I would be going crazy right now.
I've been hearing that a lot since quarantine. It's funny, right? A lot of sort of people were making it with, the wheels falling off the bus, but just sticking them back on and going. And now it's like either all the wheels are off the bus and you're off the side of the road, or you've been doing the work and showing up and saying yes to you, and you're better than you've ever been right now. And you're thinking, I love this extra family time, so it's this big kind of disparity right now.
There is.
How people are coping.
And what I would love to say to our listeners is it's not too late. You can decide right now, 5-6 weeks into quarantine, enough. That's I'm ready. And I just, the empowerment in that, I think, is so valuable. So because it was specifically brought up by our mutual friends, I would love if you could talk just a little bit about the course that you offer and kind of what tools they're going to be able to put in their toolbox. So when the world goes crazy, they feel like they can handle it. And what it's called and just what they need to know, because I think that listening to you, they're going to be interested in learning more.
Yeah, sure. So the first thing I'd say, if you if something is clicking for you and you're wanting to know more, the first place that I send people in order to kind of just do a little bit of a self-assessment on where you are and what kind of solution you're looking for. That's so important. And we don't think in those terms very much, just walking around the world, like we're just hurting. And so we just want it to stop. But it's good to challenge and stretch and grow and think, like, if the problem is overwhelm or anxiety or anger, if the problem is I'm just shouting at my kids and I hate it and feel guilty, then the solution to that is I'm looking for self-control. I'm looking for clearing out the anger. I'm looking for calm. I'm looking for emotional control. I'm looking for mental focus and those things. So the first place I would send people is to, I have a free masterclass that is posted in lots of different places. And maybe we can share resources on that so that you can direct people to that. That's the first place I would say go. It's an hour-long class. It's jam-packed with goods that are all around how to explain to you the work that I do with clients, to shift that focus from what's not working to everything really is working out for me, and to really know and believe and feel that, so that your life transforms into that. And I go pretty deep into what causes and creates anxiety for most of us, what keeps us from fixing it, and then what the other side looks like. So that's a great free resource for anybody who wants that, and be happy to share that with you. And then as far as my work goes, I'm founder of a 12-week online experience called Awakened Motherhood. And the program is a place where I get to play with all of my clients in bringing my 16 years of experience as a clinician, as well as the content that I've designed and created to really step by step show moms how to move themselves out of deeply ingrained patterns that create anxiety, that fuel anger, frustration, that martyrdom, just all the things that we know and feel terrible, but we can't get unstuck from those, and transform from living in that place to living in a place that is free of overwhelm. We eliminate it, like, for good. It doesn't come back. We're changing the emotional home, and we do that with a lot of different tools. I mean, what I'm drawing from, when there's a live coaching component, as well as there's all of my original content, which is giving people that piece that a lot of the other work out there is missing. It gives the first you do this, and then you do this, and now you build on it with that. And we use a lot of tools to calm the nervous system. So I teach you how to breathe. I teach you how to focus, and how to use words to focus and use your intention and activate that higher identity, so that that's who's showing up, and not the old habit, and not the past trauma, and not the unhealed wounds. And within that process, of course, we are healing a lot of old wounds. We are healing a lot of past trauma. We are finding out who we are in our highest self and highest identity, and accessing that wisdom and that power and that connection to our intuition. And it's just a beautiful weaving together of all of those aspects of self, while creating that version of me that I want to be as a mom, that I want to be as a partner. And the end result for people is something like, I just feel good. I just feel really good. I feel happy, and I like my kids again. I don't not like my kids. Like, people come to me and say, like, I dread the day. I hate, actually, like, I love them, but I hate being with them. I'm whispering because I have a kiddo out there. And that, what that does to your heart. I mean, as a mom, it's like, working with moms, that's such a dark and lonely and shameful place to be. And we just pull people right out of that, rebuilding a new nervous system, connection to higher self, and really just flowing from that place to create the life and future that you want.
I love it. Thank you so much. The last piece of what kind of brought us here is that I know that journaling in particular is one strategy that a lot of moms resonate with. And I know that you have a couple of really good journal prompts that moms could take right away and go sit down and journal with. Would you mind sharing some of those with us?
It's funny when you asked me that, we had this conversation about this. I'm like, do I give journal prompts? I mean, my content is so deep that tools, surface level tools like that are they come during the work, but it isn't like the program just goes into the emotional and into the mental and the body, so much into our experience, that nothing readily pops to mind. But I do want to say, we can talk about that. I can riff with you on that. But I do want to say that if there was, before we can think about something like a journal prompt being helpful or bringing us relief, or before we can think about a tool like an intention. I do work a lot with intentions, which I think may be the overlap here, the connection point here. A lot with intentions and how to focus in a really in a connected way, in a genuine, authentic way, so that we get different results from our kids or from our marriages. It all starts with getting, I know control, the word gets a bad rap, but I'm going to use it here. It all starts with getting in the driver's seat and getting control of our emotional and mental self. And we can't do that until we know who that is, until we know who's in there. And I am not somebody who says we need to go back and solve the past or go back and revisit the past or relive a trauma. We do not need to do that. We just don't need to do that. And there's a lot of trauma research to support that. However, most therapists are still sitting with people and talking about the past. And when we do that, our body remains in the past. It lives in the past, right? So it's triggered a lot by all the stuff it always was. It's angry about all the old stuff. So before we can slap on a Band-Aid like journaling or slap on going for a run, to use exercise to self-soothe or whatever, those things in and of themselves are great ideas and are super healthy sounding. But I want to mention, because I want to love on the moms who try those things and they fail. I want to just say, I know why it fails. And it's not that there's something wrong with you or you're broken. It's that you have to first find out who you are and get really clear about what is holding you back. And so before I would ever say sit down and I would guide someone to journal about something, because whatever you're going to get is going to be where you're always focusing. You got to first harness that power over your own mind and get your heart and brain coherent. You got to open up the heart-brain connection. And when you do that, then you activate something that is aligned for your higher self, then journaling can be productive, or then the intention that you create can be productive. So does that piece make sense?
Absolutely.
A bit of background. Yeah. And I wanted to like give a tool that one of your questions sparked in me, which is, if there were one thing that I was going to recommend, and I would put this well before journaling, but along the lines of getting in the driver's seat of your body and of your spirit, it would be to get control of your breath. Get control of your breath. And I don't know if this is something that you work on with your moms, but it's something that nobody needs to necessarily needs to go and take a class to learn how to breathe. It would help. But theoretically, we could all be more aware of our breathing and get more control there. So lengthening the exhale and lengthening the inhale, and then even a longer exhale. And just doing that alone will help to regulate and bring some calm to the nervous system. So even if you felt like you can't meditate and you're a failure at journaling, and because I meet a lot of women who are like, I can't journal. I can't, it's overwhelming. But for those who can, to answer your question, jog my memory and tell me, give me a little idea of what you guys had talked about.
It was a lot of the brain body. It was, what are you feeling? Where is that coming from? Where is it in your body? And like helping them to ground and really connect, so that it wasn't this amorphous, like overwhelming sensation. It was bringing them back in. And that's what I resonated with so much.
Okay, perfect. So we can call that, I talk about that as taking the inventory. So when you sit down and you're about to journal, or when you've done 5 minutes of breathing and you're struggling to quiet your body or to meditate. Some people really hate meditation. And so I won't go into the why it doesn't work for some people, but it's a skill issue, you guys. It's a skill issue. You're not bad at it. It's just a skill issue. It's painful for all of us when we start. And I felt like I was going to suffocate for the first million times I tried to sit down and be with myself years ago. So I'll ask people to take an inventory. So we're wanting to do a check-in, and this is really just turning the mirror around. We're so often we're focused on everyone else outside of us. What are the kids doing? What's that mess over there? Oh my God, who did that? And that thing stinks and needs to be cleaned up. And oh my God, there's so many things. And and what comes from all of that is the chaotic communication and the tension. We got to turn the lens around, and to do that, we want to slow down, because it's going to be a lot of information. And so we want to parse it down, really tuning into what's the quality of my thinking right now. Is my mind racing? You could just label it. My mind is racing, or brain fog, or whatever it is. Label what's going on the mental plane. And then you want to drop down. What am I feeling emotionally? What's going on in my emotions? I'm angry. or I'm exhausted. And then we want to check in with the body. So body's heavy, or can't feel my body at all. That's one that I hear sometimes. Can't feel anything. I'm just living from here up and I have no idea what the body is doing. It's separate, on a separate system. And maybe sensing. What are we sensing? What are we picking up on through our other senses? And that could be I'm a little anxious. I feel anxious. I feel like I'm anticipating something. I don't know what it is. I'm kind of scared, or my skin is crawling. Could be any of those things. So taking that inventory can chunk it down so that your self-inspection leaves out judgment, leaves out analysis, leaves out trying to solve it. We're not trying to solve anything when we're checking in. We're just checking in and doing that inventory. And then that brings us into, if you do it for 2 minutes, you've just achieved 2 minutes of being present. And how amazing is that? And then you want to go, I did it. I did it. I achieved 2 minutes of staying present. That is 2 more minutes than I had yesterday. And really, really validate that part and give some grace and some love to that part of you that showed up to do that.
That's so valuable. Thank you so much. I love it because I relate to it so much. That feeling of I'm going to suffocate if I have to be alone with myself. Yes. I experienced that for so long, and I still have work to do, just to be clear. Like,
yes, as do I. Yeah,
but there is such a different quality to the empowerment that you can feel when you are okay being with you, and you can reflect on yourself and you can look at who you are again without that judgment, like you said, because it's all part of this beautiful person that is running this life and creating this amazing existence. And, maybe there are things that aren't my favorite, and I am empowered then to change them rather than beating myself up for them. And having a good, solid way of reflecting and coming in and being grounded with yourself, I think it's just something that we're not often taught as kids. And
that's right. Yeah, the other way is encouraged, right? It's discouraged even. Yeah. Don't be so fixated on yourself. Yeah. And the irony there is that we wind up self-absorbed when we don't know how to actually connect with the true self. We wind up self-obsessed with what doesn't work. Yeah. And I want to stack on something you said is so valuable. When I learned to sit with myself and I learned to move, I get over the hump of that discomfort, and I learn to really just embrace like the authentic me that I am, just warts and all, and be ridiculous and laugh at it and be imperfect and messy. And once I get there, then the beautiful thing is I'm okay with me. So what that means is that I'm okay with your discomfort too. And this is where true mastery comes in. I'm telling you, it's fun to walk around the world and get to just be okay no matter how awkward, how nervous, how uncomfortable, how angry, how upset anyone in my field is, because I'm going to feel it. I'm going to realize it. But I'm dealing on a daily basis with cleaning my own house. I'm cleaning my side of the street. I sit in the gunk, I release it, I clear it, I reconnect. And that enables me to be, this is true for all of you, so I'm sharing this. You can stand with your partner who's having a tantrum, or your 3-year-old who's melting down, and it doesn't bother you. It doesn't matter to you because you don't have any of your own discomfort getting activated. Or it gets activated and you go, oh, hey, I'm just going to check that, but I'm going to be present for this now. And you have built that muscle to be present. So nothing shakes you in the way that it does before you've done that transformational piece. So it's just life in general becomes way more easygoing, enjoyable, and fun.
I love it so much. Thank you. I can't say thank you enough. I say it every time you stop talking, because everything you say is so key and so important for the moms that I'm working with and talking to. These are the things that when we learn these skills and we become so comfortable using them on a daily basis, it changes everything. It really does. It changes our parenting naturally. It changes our marriages naturally.
Naturally. That's the key too. It's not forcing, and you don't have to think about any of it. It's just happening. It's happening.
It becomes what it was meant to be. And I just think that's beautiful. I'm so excited I found you.
Yeah.
um, so we can find you in your Facebook group, on your website, anywhere else that we need to know of. And these links will all be below, guys.
Yeah, so the free master class, you can find that one at my website. That's probably the easiest place. It's www.honorgenetski.com, and we can maybe post that somewhere to share it. As well as come on into the free community if you want. I mean, I'm offering weekly or twice weekly free trainings and events, and live workshops there as well, to places where we just get stuck and need a kick in the butt to get going, and some help and accountability there. And for anybody who wants more, if you want to connect directly with me, I'd be so happy to do that too. So I open up my calendar for people to book clarity calls. I don't know if you do the same, but if anybody wants to reach out and connect with me that way, then I'll share the call booking link with you as well, and you can just come let's have a chat about what's going on for you, and I'm happy to help you get clear about what you need.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I encourage you to do. Everybody who is listening or watching, I really encourage you to go to Anna's website, check out her resources. They are life-changing. So thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today and sharing your experience and your journey. And I cannot wait to spend more time with you and learn more from you. Thank you.
Awesome, Sammy. Thank you so much. I'm really excited that we were able to have this conversation today, and I love as well connecting with other just heart-centered people, and it's been awesome to see our overlap today and connect. It's been such a blessing to connect with you. So thanks for having me.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.